Hey traders, just right with the Asian preview. Now the currencies wasn't much data out yesterday or last night. So what we're seeing is it was actually quite a bit of a surprise, I guess, because after the Fed minutes previous session in New York, so 2 days ago, the markets hadn't really moved that much, and it was a bit of a surprise. But what had happened during the Asian day yesterday, it looked like there's some large flows were going through, and we started seeing dollar weakness. The market has already factored in a Fed hike in December, and then no more hikes probably for 2016. So we have seen is a major correction in policy, and this has seen these currencies take off. Pretty unexpected. Even to me, still sitting here waiting for euro to get to these levels up around 106, sort of 80, 90, look pretty good. And as you can see, it's gone right up to the top trend line and taken out some short positions there. So the Kiwi, which has been really loose of late, was one of the big gainers. It rallied from 64 or under 64.30 up to 65.80, I think it was. So or actually even 90. Aussie up towards 72, the figure, a big move. Dollar yen down through the cloud and the trend line here. It's now sort of gravitating towards this trend line, but then the market's going to be very cautious about where it goes from here. Has the move corrected enough or not will be the big question. Now, dollar CAD down through the trend line. Oil is still up here, so there's that disconnection between oil and dollar CAD. Looks like the funds want to come back to where oil is, so we'll have to see how that plays out. We do have Canadian CPI data out later in that North American session. That's worth watching. Now, for this Asian day, okay, your charts are going to start looking like this. This is the Aussie, the new chart for the Aussie. You can see we've got a long-term resistance line up here around 72.26. Okay, that's probably the real main target here. I've got a short-term support line in here, but it's very, very steep. If I just sort of blow that up, you can sort of see where we are. It's the currency's now in the middle of nowhere. It's had a huge run. The market's been caught off guard as such, and you can see it's a bit tricky, right? The Kiwi, well, we've got another resistance line up here around 66.16. I'll just blow this up. We'll have a look where this all comes in. Okay, well, let me just hit that one there. Okay, you see one, sort of two, three. It's not a bad resistance line on the top side. But liquidity in the Kiwi, I mean, it's been a pretty wild sort of move the last few days. If anything, I mean, I think it's just going to wash around. There's no major US numbers coming out. We've had the correction from what the Fed minutes were sort of talking about. So now it's a matter of sort of waiting for the market to really connect to the next major data, whether it's Kiwi or US news. The yen, as I said, topped out up around 123.67. And then it's been belted 100 points down to 122.60. So you can see, if you have a look across all these currency pairs, okay, or actually, let me go back to the majors, you can see how these trend lines do come into play, right? If you're not sure about it, Kiwi broke up through this one, come back, retests the trend line, and then goes. Dollar yen, not great activity there, but it is hugging this trend line here at the moment. Euro as well respected that trend line. You can see the clean break here in the Aussie, sort of stopped at 71, sort of 80, and then blasted through the last bunch of stops. And whereas you can see here on cable, it just sort of slowly chewed through that stuff. And even on dollar CAD, you've got that sort of barroom brawl here on dollar CAD, and then it's blasted through once it's got through that level. So the trend lines are working well. It's a matter of trying to identify that direction. You know, we probably did a little bit blindsided by the lack of activity in the US session, and then it comes in Asia. And there you have it. So today, Aussie doesn't look that great to me. Even that trend line, the more I look at it, the more it looks a bit silly. So I've got resistance up here at 72.26 in the Oz, and that sort of stuff. Kiwi, we've got support and resistance, but it's a different game right now. If you come over to the yen crosses, okay, these have been a little bit hacked up. Aussie yen jumped up through that level here. You can see how wild Kiwi yen is. I've just adjusted this euro yen. This is one of those ones that had a real nice shape, but we've got that new high, so we have to adjust that level as well. If anything, actually, while I'm there, this looks a bit appealing. Let me just get rid of that drawing. Always looking for that these levels. So you're starting to get a bit of a support line in here coming in with that cloud. I want to keep an eye on that over the next couple of sessions. especially as well sterling yen. We're starting to get to see some good setups, not on, I was going to say, not on Aussie yen or Kiwi yen, but definitely still Euro yen and sterling yen for sure. CAD yen, it's worth keeping an eye on this thing, right? This is the natural oil trade. It has been sort of just basically trading sideways in a big range, but we do have a nice sort of setup down here. You really want to see a convincing move in oil, and that's what we're not seeing at the moment. All right, so the Asian day, not a lot to go through. Keep an eye on that North American session. As I said, we've got CAD CPI data and retail sales figures out. This could be a chance for the CAD to break out of its recent ranges. Or if you're looking for the easiest trade, okay, this is oil and it keeps going down. I've got the oil inverted on this chart. If we get some really weak CAD data, it's going to make it an easy move to the top side, and that's probably where the cash is. Okay, so maybe look for a break to the top side on that data. I mean, even 12 hours out, it's pretty easy to make that call. All right, guys, that's the Asian day. Not a lot in it. Have a good weekend. It's going to be a hot day if you're in Sydney, 42 degrees, around 100 Fahrenheit for those our US partners. And have a good day. Have a good weekend. We'll catch you next week.